if I see them in my living room again, they're gonna go in the garbage. You guys know my rules.
There are so many lawsuits out there right now. The heavy metal poisoning and greens powders. And no one realizes.
We need to stop shopping at companies that don't want our money.
Update, it has been literally no more than 10 minutes later. The entirety of my throat, my mouth, and my tongue are warm and itchy, and I kind of feel like my throat's closing in a little bit.
A few days ago, I came across a YouTube video uploaded by Haley Ray about products influencers could never ever convince her to buy. And that video really jumped out to me on my homepage because there's an endless list of products that are being promoted all over social media right now that I would never ever buy, no matter how aggressively it's promoted through influencer marketing. And no matter how many of these videos flood my For You page, I'm just gonna keep on scrolling every single time.
I did a video on this recently, all about the rise and fall of influencer brands. It was kind of triggered by the whole Matilda Jerf controversy that's happening right now. Again, if you're interested, I will link it above here. But the problem that I have with influencer brands is that they're just such an obvious cash grab, and there's never, or I should say, not never, I don't know every single influencer brand, of course, but there's a majority of the time not much thought put behind these brands and products, and there's never a purposeful mission behind the brand other than buy this thing to look like me. And honestly, most of these brands, I would say pretty much all of these brands, are things that we really just don't need. They are not innovative. They're truly not solving any problems. Instead, they are just adding more and more stuff to an already oversaturated market. So I don't think we need any more brands run by influencers. I don't think we need any more clothing brands, makeup brands, skincare brands, whatever. What we do need are influencers to start creating brands or businesses that actually have a positive impact, okay? Like, I want to see influencers use their actual influence and use the quote unquote power that they have in the audience that they've built to encourage the circular economy and encourage more mindful consumption. So for me, I would love to see an influencer-owned thrift store, consignment shop, a zero waste refill store. I would love to see influencers hosting clothing swaps in their city. Like, I would be the first to support that if the influencer was actually walking the walk.
And I compiled my own list of products that influencers could never convince me to buy. And this list is pretty long, so I'll probably have to make a part 2 to this video. And before we get into the video, thank you guys all so much for watching, and please make sure to like the video and subscribe so that you don't miss part 2 to this video. While you're down there, please comment below any products that are personally forced into your face every time you go on social media, and let me know why you would never buy those products. And thank you guys so much for 14,000 subscribers, and we're even closer on the road to 20,000 subscribers. On my recent poll about which video I should make next, it was pretty much tied if you guys wanted this video or the video about fake AI influencers, so that AI video will be coming out very soon. And also comment below if you hate AI as much as I do, because it is so irritating on the internet right now. And now with AI influencers and AI TikTok commercials is just ridiculous. And now back to the influencer products that I would never buy. The first type of products that I want to talk about are any products that fall into the sad beige mom category. As a new mom, I personally do not subscribe to anything beige mom. And the reason for this is very simple. Kids need to learn colors, numbers, shapes, and everything at a very young age. And tons of core memories are formed during these crucial formative years. So why would I want all of my toys to be tan, white, and cream, and then they can't even distinguish the color of the toys? And also, a lot of the sad beige mom toys are made out of wood, and those kind of look dangerous. I mean, I'm sure they're fine, but they kind of look like sharp and dangerous and don't look that safe. It's good for newborns to have like black and white contrast cards and everything like that. But even if you're talking about that, then the beige stuff is just not even contrasted enough.
Not to shade any of the aesthetic moms here on TikTok.com, but I feel like if I were a child growing up and every day when I wanted to play, I had to enter a neutral toned Free People catalog style playroom, and I had to sit down on the uncomfortable bristles of a handmade jute rug, and all I had to play with were various beige, brown, Scandinavian wooden block toys, I would then grow up to become Patrick Bateman. I think I would become a sociopath. And I can't explain why I believe this. I cannot explain the correlation, but I've never been wrong before. So
Be honest, you guys. Which one of you guys left these toys out? Because if I see them in my living room again, they're gonna go in the garbage. You guys know my rules. I swear these kids are like trying to ruin my aesthetic.
Hi, welcome in. Yeah, you can put your shoes anywhere. Just throw them and see where they land. Can you keep your coat on? Actually, that shirt you're wearing is a shade of brown that brings back memories. As you can see, all of my childhood finger paintings are hung up on the walls. Mom always kept them in the basement because they didn't match her aesthetic. Yeah, so the theme that we're kind of going for is a bit of an avant-garde rainbow circus parade. Now this is the color room where I attempt to catch up on all the years of color I was denied as a child. Oh, here are these sunglasses. Some people find it a bit intense.
I personally feel like beige mom products are making everything all about the mom because the mom doesn't want to see all those crazy colors, but I feel like kids need to use their imagination and they need to see those colors. Most beige moms have this aesthetic because they don't want their house to look all cluttered and crazy. Honestly, you would just be a lot better buying a toy box or just anything to put the toys away when company comes over so that you can fit your aesthetic if you want to, but there's just no point of not buying any toys with color. And I'm pretty sure that if people came over to your house and saw a bunch of kids' toys everywhere, knowing that you have a baby or a toddler, I don't think that would be that shocked. And I personally just think that if you're worried about your kid not fitting into your Instagram feed aesthetic, you're just not worried about the right things. And it also makes me think that when the kids grow up and then they can talk, if they ask you to buy colorful toys, are you gonna say no, like to still fit the aesthetic? Like, that's just doing too much. Now let's get into the makeup side of things. Me personally, if I see a makeup brand get into any backlash for being prejudiced on a brand trip or anything like that, I'm immediately good and do not have any interest in using those makeup products.
Does the general public just not understand the problem? Do you know what I mean? Like, we keep seeing this where, like, specifically white women do these things, make these big mistakes, and then they have these like tearful apologies that make it even worse for them. And I'm like, did you learn nothing over the last however many years? Have you not been listening at all? Have you not been online? I am just so confused.
Well, and it's so different. So I feel like we're in this loop and cycle of constantly watching what other media is doing and like comparing and, you know, trying not to make the same mistakes. Whereas the same beauty brand founders are making the same mistakes over and over and over again. Like, you should be comparing more. You should actually be watching more closely about how your competitors or colleagues are like operating in this space to learn from their mistakes. That's the whole point.
So many things that have happened specifically in the beauty space this year are avoidable. Like you said, if these beauty founders or the publicists or whoever in charge of these things were like listening, spending literally any time online or taking in any feedback from people that are just not white. I don't understand. It's really not that fucking hard.
So Pink Honey is a UK-based makeup brand and they're really popular on TikTok Shop. And they recently took a lot of UK-based beauty influencers on a staycation. So basically a brand trip. But as you can see from this picture that was posted during the trip, there is no diversity whatsoever. I think one of the most diverse things about this group is that one of them had red hair. And this trip would have cost the brand a lot, like everything is branded. So this trip will have been planned with the intention of getting a lot of social media coverage. Creators inside and outside of the beauty industry have called out Pink Honey on the total lack of diversity, saying that in 2023 we shouldn't have to be calling out brands to remind them to be inclusive. And that there are so many creators out there of other races and genders that would have been perfect for this trip had they been given the opportunity. After a couple of days, Pink Honey eventually put out an apology video, and they say that the lack of diversity was never their intention. The girls that were invited on the trip were just invited because they promoted the brand the most, and that the trip was just a thank you. There was actually no expectation to post anything on socials. I feel like that argument doesn't really fly because literally everything was branded. And Pink Honey did actually have a story highlight with all the coverage that they got on that trip as well. I do think this is a wake-up call for Pink Honey, but I also think it should be a wake-up call for other brands that don't put diversity and inclusion at the forefront, so that in 2024 we're not still having this same conversation and brand trips don't look like this.
So a lot of you guys have asked me about the tea with P. Louise and why I choose not to buy from her. Back in 2019, she posted a video to her Instagram story where she was singing along with her friends at a Drake concert, and she said the N-word. Keep in mind, she's not black, and she did so with no shame whatsoever. When called out, this was her response, and you can pause to read that here. It wasn't until a few days later that she did actually apologize. You can pause to read that here. This still left a sour taste in people's mouths though, just because it was after people calling her out for a couple days that she decided to actually give an apology. People were also less than pleased when she released her canceled collection. It looked like she was trying to make a profit out of controversy, which honestly I kind of agree. She released a whole spiel about being against cyberbullying and whatnot. You can read it here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Like, ma'am, calm down. Nobody was cyberbullying her. They were rightfully calling her out for saying a racial slur, and yet she plays the victim. So yeah, I don't want to buy from her.
Oh, but you tried it on real skin.
Should be a crime. This is what we get when we ask to be included in the beauty industry.
That's not what I'm saying. My issue is if a product doesn't work for you, do not accept it.
Is she the darkest woman in America? Because I don't see her in the Guinness Book of World Records. But see, if I say it like that, that sounds a little racist.
Actually, it does make you sound a little bit racist. And as a black woman, the fact that you don't see the ignorance behind this company dropping the shade of literally black makes you just as ignorant as them. She never said she was the blackest person in America. All she said was, instead of this company drop shades of different browns, they literally threw it in our face and dropped the color literal black. And the fact that you guys are trying to justify it saying that the color can be mixed, the color was mixed and you literally got gray. And the fact that the company literally rushed to find somebody that shade and still failed to find somebody that can match that pigmentation shows the fact that the company just threw it in our face that they were not meant for black people. They do not want black people buying their products. Darker women of the beauty industry was literally just asking for darker colors of brown that they can use, and the company literally threw the color tar into the mix. They did not drop any shades in between. But that just goes to say, us as black people need to stop shopping at companies that don't want our money. They don't want us shopping with them. They're not made for us. And I just hope Youthforia pay those black men that they use to swash on their face that black paint, because honestly it was a waste of time. And they know they're wrong because they turn off their comments. Between the darkest color that they had of brown, they could have made about 50 more shades before they even got to that black. And if that black was truly for mixing, they should have put it as a description, used for mixing, not a deep neutral. And if they have black for mixing, why don't they have white out? Why don't they have just white? So Youthforia definitely pulled a racist stunt and made it clear that their targeted customers are not black people.
Meanwhile, at the Krusty Krab.
Miss Selena Gomez, coming from a girl who used to crush a black and brown lipstick to be able to contour her face, thank you. This is the darkest shade of the new Rare Beauty Soft Pinch Liquid Contour. Hi complexion bestie, Rare Beauty just sent me over their new Soft Pinch Liquid Contour. Let's try them out together to see how they look on my skin.
This is the darkest shade. This is shade Rich 10C. This is the shade I use in the summer. We also have Rich 9C. Ari gave the dark skin girls variety in tone, and we love to see it. This is the darkest shade of the Made by Mitchell foundation. Talk about true inclusion. Yeah. This is the darkest shade of the Fenty Beauty Skin Tint. This is the darkest shade of the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Another banger. This is the darkest shade. This is Urban Decay's brand new Face Bond. High range. This is the Gucci Beauty Foundation, and you guys, this is the darkest shade. Y'all, the About Face Beauty Foundation is literally one of the best drops, foundation drops, complexion drops in this here 2024. And there's already millions and millions of makeup brands to choose from, so why would I drop $60 on a foundation that was involved in shunning black creators on a brand trip? This has always gone around in the world of influencers, but it's all really coming to light and being exposed in recent years. Now even white creators are getting shunned by brands if they speak up for black creators who aren't invited on these brand trips.
So I got invited on a global brand trip of 57 people and not a single creator was black.
This influencer got kicked off a brand trip for simply asking why there were no black creators included. Well, it all started when this creator right here named Eleanor shared that she was invited to go on a global brand trip alongside 57 creators. She was looking at the list and noticed that none of them were black. She asked the brand like, why wasn't there any black creators? And they uninvited her, and they replied with, hopefully we'll have a better experience with you next time. She said, if you're gonna uninvite me, at least replace me with someone who is black or brown. Instead, yet again, they chose to bring another white creator. Today marks 6 days since she's posted this and it's gone viral. And this is the brand in question. Because they got caught and don't want it to affect their brand, they put out an apology like yesterday. They said, "We sincerely apologize for not reflecting the inclusive values we hold as a brand," and implemented 3 new initiatives, which literally sound like they were written by ChatGPT. As a black creator who's been in this influencer creator business for 4 years now, exhausting hearing all these brands say that they're all about diversity until it comes to actually showing it. Instead of actually saying you're all about diversity and inclusion and all these different things, you need to start showing it, brands. Especially when other creators that are in the community do things like this, I truly feel like it helps move that needle so much quicker. Truly not surprised about this, but I have to applaud Eleanor for doing this, and I hope more creators and influencers follow suit.
If you're unfamiliar with all these brand trip controversies, basically a lot of the times brands will invite 99% white creators to places like Bora Bora or Turks and Caicos or wherever else. Then they'll get a ton of backlash. Then they'll try to save face by inviting 1 or 2 black influencers at the last minute so that they don't appear to be racist. Or they'll do this on the next trip. Once the black creators agree to go, all heck breaks loose because the brands will a lot of the times treat the black creators terribly on the trips while they treat everybody else way better. Everybody else will get way bigger rooms, way more time with the photographers, way more free stuff, and just way better treatment in general. Then the black/brown creators are left traumatized, and if they dare to come forward with their experiences and cause the brand to get canceled, then the brand might come after them and threaten to sue them or silence them in some way and blacklist them. After all this is said and done, a lot of the times these brands will do damage control and try to get themselves uncanceled through any means necessary, which is usually through sneaky PR and calculated stunts. Usually this is sending a ton of free products to black influencers after the controversy, and the next time around on the next brand trip, they'll all of a sudden invite a ton of black creators. And then they'll be like, "See, what are you guys talking about? We were literally never racist." And they'll all of a sudden start being extremely nicey and accommodating to black creators and dark skin creators in particular out of nowhere. A makeup brand that falls into this category that a lot of you guys might already know about is Tarte. Tarte got a ton of heat for what they did to Bria Jones in May 2023. And then in February 2024, all of a sudden, they're being all nicey to Melinda Berry. I just think that anybody working with Tarte moving forward should always be keeping one eye out for anything calculated or anything trifling, because we already know that Tarte is kind of crazy. And then also, I will personally not be buying Tarte because they just do too much. Now, if you don't know anything about the Bria Jones controversy and you're wondering why I'm saying that I won't buy Tarte no matter how many new influencers promote it, let's jog our memory and see what Tarte even did in the first place. And this all happened when they invited Bria Jones on their brand trip to Miami for Formula One.
So I was supposed to be going on a Tarte trip, and I was going to be leaving tomorrow to go to Formula One in Miami, and I decided that I'm not going to go. I've just been really upset today because even before I'm getting to this trip, I'm realizing that I'm not going to be treated like everyone else there. I would love to go on a Tarte trip, and trust me, I'm so grateful, but I have more integrity than to get all the way to Miami and realize that I'm being treated like a second-tier person or like I'm being ranked. It just feels like a sorority situation, and I'm not doing that shit. I don't care if this means that I no longer have a relationship with the Tarte team, but I don't agree with how they're doing this. So the actual race is on Sunday the 7th. I was invited to come out from the 4th to the 6th. But initially in the email, it said something about being front row May 7th at the race. So once I realized my flights didn't align with the actual race, I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh, don't worry, you'll still get to see like the practice races and stuff." But I have some friends that are going on the trip, and I asked them when they were leaving, and they all said they were leaving Monday, and I was the only one leaving Saturday. So I just feel a little stupid. And I understand that my numbers are not like some of these other creators, but I just wish that there was more transparency up front. And I also, I have a screenshot of what was said at the beginning of our email thread. So I guess I misunderstood. But either way, I know that Cynthia had a similar experience, and I just don't like that this is happening to people who want to be a part of these Tarte trips. And personally, I don't get why, if they're going to do these trips, they don't just treat everyone the same. I have worked too hard to get to where I am today, and I will be damned as a Black creator if I accept anything other than equal treatment on these trips. And yes, Tarte can do whatever they want to do. Yes, they can, but I don't have to accept or agree with it.
After this, Tarte tried to cover their tracks by inviting Fanita on the trip in place of Bria Jones.
So Tarte called me up yesterday and was like, hey, you want to fly out to Miami tonight? I said, hell yeah.
This was a beautiful move by Tarte's PR team. I'm not supporting them. Don't get crazy. For those of you who don't know, there was another black creator on the Tarte brand trip who quit the trip because she was being treated unfairly. People have come out and said that they feel like Fanita was invited to fill a diversity quota, but it goes so much deeper than that. Because what better way to overshadow a black creator coming out and saying that she was treated unfairly by inviting another black creator, Fanita, who was just treated unfairly by Pyrex, and having her film her journey on the way there, flying out first class, showing her room, showing all the goodies she got. Now all the people who were supporting Fanita, right, through the whole Pyrex situation, and who may not technically know Tarte as a brand, now there's a spotlight on them and they have eyes on them that they wouldn't normally have before, because makeup is not particularly Fanita's niche. But black people are like, oh my God, look how they treated her, and she's a black creator. They treated her amazingly. This is how we're supposed to get treated, yada yada. Now you want to go support them. Meanwhile, it's just a whole thing to cover up the fact that they treated the first black creator badly.
And keep in mind, Bria is by no means the first creator to have this bad experience with Tarte. This is really just the tip of the iceberg and the straw that broke the camel's back.
We've had our share of mistakes, and I definitely want to take responsibility for them.
Are we really surprised that a brand who thinks it's okay to release such an abysmal shade range, a foundation, not even concealer, a foundation, are we surprised that they're having a diversity and inclusion problem in their campaigns? This release happened in a post-Fenty world, so everyone was aware of the standards of shade range that you put out, and they just didn't care. Not to mention the time they posted a racial slur to their Instagram. In their apology, they pretty much acknowledged that they knew it was a racial slur. Like, they didn't even be like, oh, we didn't know. When brands show you who they are, you gotta believe them. Tarte has continuously shown us that they make makeup for the people in this shade range, okay? Not the people down there.
Tarte for years and years has had a huge reputation for doing this kind of nonsense, and it's just ridiculous. After this, Bria was seemingly blackmailed by Tarte into backtracking on her original claims, because she all of a sudden came out with this next statement.
So I just wanted to come on really quick and say thank you for your messages. I wanted to update you that I've been in contact with Maureen and the Tarte team, and we are very much so on the same page with everything. There was miscommunication on both ends, and I recognize my mistake in responding so quickly and publicly, but Tarte has done a great job of working through the situation with me. So I know we're both glad to be moving forward in a positive way. For my mental health, I'll be taking a break from TikTok. That is why I deactivated my account, but I'm looking forward to, just getting in a better place and reconnecting with you guys soon.
It honestly seems like Tarte either made a deal with her or threatened to sue her. Either way, it definitely seems like she was forced to say all this. For me personally, every time a brand does this, I'm not surprised at all, because years and years ago, Lisette, one of my favorite YouTubers, was involved in several of these trifling brand trips. They had Lisette sleeping in the basement while everybody else slept upstairs in the fancy rooms. They had her getting harassed by weirdo bus drivers. They ghosted her while everyone was eating a banquet and she was just lost and confused, like on a golf course, I'm pretty sure. And then they had her sit on some random man's shoulders in order to get to a boat, and then she got all crazy sunburned and bruised. And they just put her into a ton of these crazy situations. Also, I've heard a lot of influencers and people who work with influencers say that brand trips are just not what everybody thinks that they are. They're really just like extremely high stakes PR tours, and you can't really just like lay out on the beach and relax the whole time. It's a really heavy workload basically when you're on these trips. It's basically like a big photo shoot. Every single day you have to keep making content. But let me know what you guys think about influencer brand trips, and do all these controversies make you not want to buy the products anymore? Personally, for me, it does, because no matter how many times these companies get exposed for doing these weird brand trips and shunning black creators, it just seems to just never stop. Every single year there's a new controversy about brands only inviting white influencers on trips, and it's just ridiculous. Also, side note before we get on to the next couple of products, sadly it's not only brand trips where black creators / non-white creators in general experience this type of treatment. This can actually happen at any time in the influencer world. A high fashion influencer named Olivia Joan explained this in a new TikTok video that she uploaded this week. Olivia wasn't on a brand trip or anything, but she got mean girl treatment at a dinner, the original situation that Olivia was in didn't really have to do with race. But then as you go more into the topic, the reason why she never spoke out against the mean girl treatment that she received in the first place is because if you complain as a black creator to any brands or anything, you could potentially get blacklisted and lose all of your partnerships. And this is just pretty disturbing. So the reason why she never spoke out against the mean girl treatment is because she didn't want to be blacklisted. And if I find out that any big companies are blacklisting celebrities if they speak out against mean girl treatment at a dinner, I will also not be buying their products either, because there's way too many products to choose from to be supporting these nonsense brands.
Is like, oh, why didn't you like cuss her out, blah blah. Being a black female creator in a white dominated field with a stereotype against us as like black women are so aggressive and angry, if I were to be anything but nice, my career in this field would be pretty much over, and like I would be blacklisted. And I think that that is such an awful situation to be in, but that's like the truth of the matter. There are so few black creators, especially like where I am, where it's like more like the high fashion, like for fashion shows and some like sometimes events. This season in particular, the only show that I went to that I wasn't the only black woman there was Off-White, which is like pretty much like it's a streetwear brand. There were a lot of black women there, but like all the other shows that I went to, I was one of one or one of two, and everyone else was just like white. There weren't even like any other POCs there. It's really sad, and I always call my mom and let her know those things because it's not fun. And like when I go to events, like I will be either the only black girl there at like a sit down dinner or one of five. Like it's this field for black women and just POCs is very small realm. Like you just kind of have to be the bigger person and kill them with kindness. Also, like my mom has taught me that you don't stoop down to people's level, you rise above it, which is what I did. Yeah, I cried. I had never felt so embarrassed and ashamed of myself, and it was like the first time that I had dealt with someone being negative towards me that was also a fellow creator.
The next product that influencers could never ever convince me to buy is Bloom Nutrition. Bloom Nutrition's best-selling product is a jar of flavored powdered greens and superfoods, and it's priced at $34.99 per jar. You've probably seen Bloom Nutrition absolutely everywhere on social media. And this is because Bloom is usually very, very secretive and covert with their influencer ads. What Bloom will do is send influencers their products, tell the influencers to simply have the jar somewhere in the background of their regular TikTok videos, and just film their videos as usual, but have the Bloom jar somewhere in the frame. I've also seen a ton of Bloom ads where it'll be a vlog style video. They'll be like, come with me to go to the gym. And then all of a sudden they'll randomly be like, before I go to the gym, you know I have to drink my Bloom Nutrition. I just can't even leave my house without drinking Bloom.
Anyways, long story short, I've been having a hard time finding a gym that kind of meets my needs as far as training hypertrophy, but also functional and mobility and strength and just fun stuff like handstands and just like, I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so the new gym that I'm going to today is a UFC gym. We have them. I can't be the only one. Am I the only one? I have at least 3 drinks going at all times every day. Let me show you today's lineup. Coffee. This kind of just floats around my house and goes everywhere with me, but I never finish the entire drink. If I'm drinking coffee, I also need water. A little hydration. But water can get very boring. So, I also have orange juice. Orange juice, great, tastes good, has benefits, but I can make it taste better and have more benefits if I added greens. Now, I personally drink my greens every morning because it helps with my bloating, helps with my digestion, also helps me go number 2. Girls poo, okay? It's normal. Girls poop, don't be embarrassed. Shrek water. So here's the lineup. Caffeine, hydration, digestion, the perfect combo.
This is something that I've been doing for a while and I burn straight fat. But I also put plastic all around my legs, arms, and stomach when I have water retention.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So you want to sweat more. And another thing that I've been doing for the last few months is drinking my greens.
Everybody does before and after videos with the Bloom stuff about like their bloating, so I'm gonna like just try and see. Okay, so this is like before, this is like 6 p.m. So I've eaten it all today. This one's good. This is the mango one. I think it tastes like chocolate and I usually just chug it. I personally think it's delicious. So this is before. I'm gonna come back in like 30 minutes or so and we'll see what's going on. I'm back. The sun is down. That's why it like looks different. Here is after. I don't know. I feel like it gets rid of that extra bloating. And okay, I'm gonna breathe so you guys don't like tell me I'm doing something wrong. But yeah, I think it works.
So now, why would I never personally try Bloom? Well, first of all, Bloom is pretty much just overpriced powder that simply turns your water green, gives you a placebo effect, and makes you have a bathroom attack. Yeah, you heard that right. I'll get into that.
This is just your friendly reminder that all Bloom Greens powder does is make you go to the bathroom. Eat a vegetable, drink some water, and stop forcing yourself to drink grass. That's all. Have a good day.
And tons of nutritionists have said that if you want to actually intake more greens and superfoods, you'd just be way better off actually eating vegetables. Actually eating real vegetables gives you way more nutrients and fiber and just way more benefits than Bloom ever could. And it will also keep you out of credit card debt because you can get a vegetable for like a couple cents where you can get Bloom for $35. Every single nutritionist that I've seen talk about Bloom basically says that it's just a bunch of overpriced nonsense.
I hate to break it to you, but Bloom products are not going to cure your bloating. All of these influencers all over TikTok talking about you should buy Bloom because it cures your bloating. No, it doesn't. Okay, Bloom does not cure bloating. Nothing's going to magically clear your bloating. I'm sorry, but Bloom is the biggest marketing scam out there, and I see all of these influencers promoting Bloom, and it's very annoying and misleading because I've seen so many people ask like their opinion on Bloom and everything, and I promise you it's the biggest scam. And if you're having bloating issues, you need to go to your doctor. You need to do a food sensitivity test. You can get an EGD done. You can do a stool sample. There's so many things to figure out why you're bloated, and I promise you, I work in healthcare. I promise you that Bloom is not going to cure your bloating, and please don't waste your money on Bloom products. It's not going to help you and it's not going to cure your bloating. I'm sorry.
Greens powder have been around for a very long time, but it's not until TikTok really blew it up and all these big companies really took advantage of that and used their marketing tactics to really make some money off of it. Some of the benefits to greens powder is they can boost your energy, give you endurance, immunity, help your blood circulation, reduce some bloating. Some creators claim that it can keep your stomach flat. It's a lie. But then also can keep your skin glowing and of course helps your nails, blah, blah, blah. Now let's talk about what dietitians have to say about it. So basically, greens powder don't give you enough fiber. It gives you around 3 grams of fiber versus your total recommended of 25 to 30. So it's not going to solve that. Also, if you consume too much of it, it can reverse and give you actual bloating, as you can see above. None of them are regulated by the FDA, so they can claim what they want. Per serving, they're 8 times more expensive than if you buy it fresh. In my opinion, frozen or fresh is always better, so I would not buy these.
3 things I would never spend my money on as an accredited dietitian. First off the bat, we've got greens powders. It's so funny how wellness culture tells us we need to not eat processed foods until it's a greens powder. Like, greens powders are incredibly processed. Not that processed food is a bad thing, but I'm just saying, kind of hypocritical. The other reason I would never buy greens powders is we don't know what's in them, they're not very regulated, and eating actual green vegetables with the fiber included is going to be so much more beneficial and cost effective.
Greens powders can be okay and help to substitute when you can't get enough fruit or veggies in your diet. The issue is, and I have a couple of them. Number one, there are so many lawsuits out there right now for heavy metal poisoning and greens powders, and no one realizes. You look in the US and so many companies are getting sued because of this contamination. Now you go, well, why is there heavy metals in greens powders? Plants naturally contain a lot of heavy metals on the leaves. It's how they protect themselves from getting eaten by different things and how they survive in the environment. Now we take these and we concentrate them down into little powders. You've got concentrated amounts. Second of all, we have no idea as how they work in the body. I like to compare it to eating an apple versus drinking a glass of apple juice. Now, they come from the same thing. You're getting, your fresh apple, but
the effect that apple juice has on your body to the health benefits of eating an actual apple are vastly different. So when it comes to greens powders, it's a myth and a fad that they help with gut health, but you can add them to your diet. It's just an extra source of fruit and veg.
Let me tell you 5 reasons of why I don't like Bloom, and you can skip it, and it's a scam. Like, okay, maybe there's some vitamins and minerals in there, but you can easily just get that from like fruits or veggies that are super affordable. Also, whole foods, so not Bloom, but whole foods are going to provide you with more phytochemicals, antioxidants, fiber. They're going to give you so much more. They're going to give you more enjoyment. You're going to be using your teeth to crunch and chew. Bloom is just not that enjoyable and is lacking a lot of nutrients that you could easily get from food. Another reason is lack of personalization. Like one size fits all for nutrition, that's never happened. I mean, their marketing is really good. It looks super cute, but it's just really a waste of your money. You don't need any of these blends. What you need to do is just go eat more fruits and veggies and whole grains. That's it. You don't need this. You need sustainable dietary habits and how to plate up food, not supplements and greens.
Now, looking specifically at the green superfood blend and then also the antioxidant beauty blend, these are pretty standard in terms of ingredients. That being said, everything on this label is listed as a proprietary blend, meaning that you don't know the exact quantity of each of the ingredients. So for example, with the organic superfood blend or the green superfood blend, it could be 95% organic barley grass and then 5% everything else, and you're not gonna know. Now, I'm not saying that this brand specifically is doing this, but a lot of times brands will use proprietary blends as a way to decrease their costs and in turn also decreasing the quality without the consumer necessarily catching on. And last but not least, let's take a look at the price. So a 2-month supply costs about $80, which works out to $40 a month. Is it astronomical? No, but I do think that you can get more nutrients from just taking that money and purchasing whole fruits and veggies. You're gonna get a lot more fiber, a lot more nutrients. In a lot of cases, it's actually more bioavailable.
Even if you consumed 4 servings of Bloom per day, which would be pretty insane because it's already an expensive product, so that would be incredibly expensive to buy it that frequently. You still wouldn't be consuming enough of the greens and superfoods to experience any of the benefits that it claims to have. It is not a miracle cure for anything. It's not going to clear your skin. It's not going to give you your dream body. It's not going to magically heal the deep root causes of your bloating and discomfort. All it is a big fat paycheck in a lot of people's pockets. So don't waste your money, do your research, and if you're going to buy a greens powder, buy from a brand that actually puts their money into creating a high quality potent product and not one that puts all of their money in marketing and influencers.
And every honest, unsponsored review I've seen says that it has terrible side effects, like bathroom attacks. And a lot of people say that they all taste gross besides the mango flavor. But personally, I will not be trying it. I'm not just gonna try it for the plot because I don't have time for that. And also, Bloom claims that its main benefit is de-bloating, but obviously if it has bathroom effects, it's going to de-bloat you.
So I'm not the only one that's about sick and tired of seeing this on their For You page. I saw it at Walmart next to the Miralax, and I said, you know what? We're all in our de-influencing era right now. Let's put this to the test. I did purchase this with my hard-earned money, and it was $15 for 10 packets. I'm gonna say that again. $15 for 10 packets. They had the little cans, but those were $25. And I said, you know, I'm not gonna commit that much. I'm just gonna try it out. I'm gonna give it 1 week. Don't worry, 1 video. No part 2s here. And I'm trying to mentally prepare myself for the possible explosive diarrhea that I will be experiencing for the next week. I'm gonna be so real with y'all right now. This gives me flat tummy tea, Kim Kardashian appetite suppressant suckers. And it was next to the Miralax, like come on. First one, let's do a taste test. This is mango. And as somebody who works with stool specimens all day, this is hitting a little too close to home. Okay, cheers. That's actually not bad. Okay, I was expecting way worse. Update, it has been literally no more than 10 minutes later. The entirety of my throat, my mouth, and my tongue are warm and itchy, and I kind of feel like my throat's closing in a little bit. So, never mind. It's an hour and a half later. I had to throw it all up. I even took a Zofran, and my body was like, no, we're getting this the out. So, I don't know what's in it. I literally don't have any known food allergies, but my body said, no. I literally only drank that much of it. Oh my god. Ew.
Bloom also makes collagen products, but if your main product has built such an extreme level of distrust around your brand, I'm pretty much good on all your other products. And I'm pretty sure that we'd all just be better off doing Vital Proteins collagen powder or any other collagen powder besides Bloom. Not sponsored. And the craziest thing is that Bloom is heavily promoted to kids as well, especially during back to school season. In last back to school season, I saw a huge display of Bloom kids in Target, and then it had all these little cartoon characters on it and everything like that, and these mini packages, but they were still extremely overpriced, even though the packages were smaller for kids. I know that kids usually hate eating vegetables, but just season the vegetables and they'll be fine.
I do not see how it is healthy to dehydrate and powder like spinach and kale, put it in like a box, and then just remix it back into water. You know what's just as easy and probably better for you? Bitch, make a green smoothie. Put spinach, some sort of frozen fruit, and milk in the blender. You're good. Promise. That's all you need. I just saw some girl put Bloom greens in a hydro flask. And what I also don't like is how now just being like, my greens, oh, gotta drink my greens. It's like a cultural thing now. I don't like that. Because Bloom Nutrition at first was like the coldest water bottle. If you guys remember the coldest water bottle ads, it was just one of those things that like every influencer promoted at one point, and it was just like, oh, okay, whatever, we're just gonna have to get through this. But now it's turned into like a term that people use where it's like, oh, gotta drink my greens, like pre-workout smoothie, gotta drink my greens, and I drink my greens before and after my workout, and I put it in my drinks and my greens, just blend it with water with my greens. And I hate it. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I'm a hating ass bitch, but I don't think it's actually good for you. I'm sorry. I give it a couple years until some scientific study is done. It turns out y'all were drinking plastic the whole time. I firmly believe it is literally just ground up microplastics in there, dyed green.
Now let's get into the next product, which is the Dyson Airwrap. Now this one is a bit different because there's nothing really wrong or controversial about the Dyson Airwrap. I just never personally would buy it because first of all, it's $600. To be exact, $599.99. You cannot convince me that any type of hair tool or hair dryer or curler or anything is worth $600, especially seeing that Ulta was throwing these away in the dumpster in my dumpster diving video. You've probably seen the Dyson Airwrap absolutely everywhere across your TikTok and Instagram feeds. And this isn't because influencers all have it just because they're simply so rich that they all just drop $600 on the Dyson Airwrap. No, it's actually because Dyson just sends these all to these influencers for free. And always keep that fact in mind, because before you spend hundreds of dollars on a curling iron / blow dryer tool, just keep in mind that not even the it girl influencers that are trying to make you like them even spent money on it. These companies want you to fall into the trap of being like, OMG, if I can just only get $600 and get this hair tool, I'll finally be a true it girl like all these girls on TikTok. But that's just not the case. And the influencers that get these for free, who knows if they're actually using this on a regular basis or if they just use it to make the video and be done with it. The last types of products that influencers heavily promote are hair growth oils. And don't get me wrong, I love hair oils in general, and they're great for locking in moisture on your hair and making your hair look really shiny and beautiful and everything like that. But hair growth oils are a completely different story. Also, side note, make sure that when you're buying hair oils, you check the ingredients list, because sometimes you'll look at a hair oil and it'll say like jojoba oil on the cover or something. And then you'll look at the ingredients list and the #1 ingredient will be soybean oil. So make sure that you always check the ingredients, because sometimes it'll say like vitamin E oil for hair. And then you'll look at the ingredients and then vitamin E oil is like the 10th thing down and soybean oil is on top. But with specifically hair growth oils, no matter how clean their ingredients are or anything like that, they'll never get my money, because I personally know for a fact that they'll just never be as effective as they promise, because they make so many ridiculous claims on these hair growth oils. They'll be like, grow 2 feet of hair in 1 month. And like, they'll pay influencers who already have extremely long, shiny, beautiful hair. They'll be like, do you want to know how she got hair like this? It's with our hair growth oil. No, just admit that she already had hair like that and you're just trying to finesse us and bamboozle us.
This definitely needs to be addressed because it's happened to me as well in the past. So this is a picture of Avon Dugas. She is the Guinness World Record holder for having the largest afro. And she grew her hair naturally. However, a hair growth company stole this picture, used it without her permission to promote their product. And she has it here. It says, scam alert, these people use my products, my hair, to promote their hair growth products. Something similar happened to me years ago on Facebook, where a company used my photo where I showed my hair when it was short, 6 years later when it was long, to promote their hair growth product. And I was like, you have to take it down for 2 reasons. 1, I do not believe in hair growth products. And 2, I don't use hair growth products. I understand that a lot of us want to grow long and healthy hair. I am here to tell you, even if it's your mama's cousin's best friend's daughter who makes her own hair growth oils, they are not going to make your hair grow faster. They're not going to make your hair grow thicker. Nothing will do that. But what you can do is start eating a healthier diet and taking care of your hair. A proper hair care routine, no matter what, whatever your genetics are, whatever your diet is, that is going to give you length retention. So you want to definitely start from a healthy body to grow healthy hair. But if you want to retain that length, if you want long hair, hair growth products aren't going to do it. A proper hair care routine where you are gentle with your hair, you're consistent with your routine, that is the only way you're going to grow long hair.
Also, personally, I'll never be tricked by these companies again, because I probably was tricked when I was a teenager. But I'll never be tricked because I already know that you can literally just go to the grocery store, buy fresh rosemary for $1 or $2, and then boil water, put those leaves in the water, simmer for a few hours, cool down the spray it all over your scalp, and do this a few times a week for like 6 months, and you'll look like you got a hair transplant. So why do we need to spend $50 on a tiny bottle of hair growth oil when we can just do that home thing for $1? There are hair growth oils that do work, but they're just never going to be as effective as a lot of home remedies like the one I just mentioned. And hair growth companies know this, but they also know that they can make billions of dollars by just putting sensationalized claims on a product and putting light pink, beautiful packaging on a product. And if they make influencers promote it, they know that they're gonna make billions. And for me personally, once I saw how effective rosemary water is, I just can't unsee it. And now all these hair growth companies just look like nonsense. And I'm also sure that rosemary hair growth oil companies, they probably aren't even as potent as just making it yourself. So that's another reason to just save money. And you can also make your own rosemary hair growth oil at home. But for me personally, I just like the water because it's way fewer steps.
If you've been looking for ways to speed up your hair growth, you have to make this rosemary hair grease. It's so easy to do. All you need is some organic rosemary. I'm doing 2 spoons of dried rosemary, but I'm also adding in some fresh rosemary. And then you'll need some organic coconut oil. I'm doing about 4 spoonfuls. Then I'm just going to put that bowl over a pot of boiling water, and immediately you can see it's already melting down. And I'm just going to keep stirring until it's fully melted like this. Now I'm just adding in some Pure Magic Naturals hair growth oil, and when I tell you, my house smells amazing. And while the mixture is still warm, I transfer to my Ninja cup and start blending until I got this consistency. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and strain. I like to use a stocking. You could use a cheesecloth if you like, and I'm just squeezing out all that goodness. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour that mixture inside of my jars. If you don't have jars at home, you could just use like a small bowl or something. And then we're going to refrigerate this for about 45 minutes to an hour. And once our mixture has cooled, we now have an organic hair grease without the petroleum and mineral oils. And it smells so good, like so good. So I'm just taking my hair down, and I'm going to start finger detangling, then dampen my hair with water. Then I'm going to go ahead and apply that hair grease directly to my scalp and to the lengths of my hair. And I'm just going to repeat that process throughout my whole head. And I'm also massaging that directly into my scalp. And for those who believe there's no products that can make your hair grow, that's not true. There was actually a study done in 2022 that rosemary had the same effect on hair growth as minoxidil, which is a hair growth medication. So now I'm just going to go sit under my steamer for about 20 minutes, or you could just leave this in overnight. And once I rinsed it out, my hair never felt better.
If your rosemary water does not look like this, you might be losing out on some of the benefits from the herb. I recently learned that instead of boiling your rosemary, you should do a slow infusion. So this way you get to preserve the essential oils and nutrients from the rosemary. And this is going to make your rosemary water more effective, which is exactly what we want. That's so easy to do, girl. All you have to do is heat up some water in your kettle, and just when it's about to boil, turn off your kettle, pour the water into your mason jar with the rosemary herbs, leave it out overnight or for a few hours and it should start to darken. I left mine out for a couple hours and then I transferred some of it into a spray bottle. As y'all can see, I just started spraying my hair with the rosemary water and rubbing it into my hair and into my scalp. This is very, very important. And the rest of the rosemary, I just stored it in my fridge. It can last up to 2 weeks. But another tip that I learned is that you can freeze some of it into ice cubes and then you can use it for a longer period of time. I'm about to finish my first batch and I can't wait to see what it's gonna do to my hair.
And these were the top 5 products that are so heavily pushed by influencer marketing right now that you will never catch me buying and never catch me spending a dime on. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and let me know in the comments if you guys have ever tried any of these products I mentioned, or if you have more products that you would never buy that influencers promote. Let me know those in the comments below. And guys, please remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to help us on the journey to 20,000 beautiful people on this channel. Thank you guys all so much again for watching, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye guys.